Ram shoots an arrow from his bow. The golden deer crumbles to the ground, but it doesn't die like a deer. It screams for help in Ram's own voice. Sita hears it and she panics because she thinks that Ram is hurt. So she sends Lakshman to find Ram. And somewhere behind the trees, somebody powerful is watching. That someone is Ravan. Ravan did not just want Sita, he wanted to break Ram. Now let's talk about Ravan's 10 heads. We always read that as power, but power doesn't explain the Ramayana. The psychoanalyst Lacan said you can never feel complete. From the moment you're born, there is something missing inside you, a kind of gap, and that gap never really goes away. But why? Because the moment you enter the world, you enter a system that has already existed before you. That system has language, rules, social roles, family expectations, and you did not choose any of this. This gap between who you feel you are on the inside and what the world demands you to be, Lacan called lack. Now, every human being has this feeling that something is missing, the feeling that you're not quite enough, not quite complete. I'm sure you know that feeling. Now, circling back to Ravan's 10 heads, it implies 10 separate centers of desire, 10 voices, lust, anger, greed, pride, intellect, and they're all pulling Ravan in different directions. And the thing is, he's the most knowledgeable being in the entire epic. He knows the Vedas, he knows the Shastras, he has done so much tapas that even the gods had to negotiate with him. So if he had everything, the golden kingdom, the knowledge, the power, why was it not enough? Because lack does not care about how much you have. And Ravan doesn't have 1 lakh like us. He has 10, and none of them agree on how to fill it. So why Sita? The surface reason is revenge, because Lakshman cuts off Shurpanaka's nose. So Ravan kidnaps Sita. That is what he tells himself. But look at what he's actually obsessed with. It's not just Sita, he's obsessed with Ram. Ram is Maryada Purushottam, the man who follows Dharma perfectly, who puts the rules, the laws above his own desire, who on the day of his own coronation accepts 14 years of exile without raising his voice. He doesn't argue or fight back. He simply surrenders himself to the system completely. That is the opposite of Ravan. Ravan is not somebody who can look away from it. And Sita. Sita is devoted to Ram, refusing to even look at Ravan even as a captive in his own palace. She becomes what Lacan calls the object petita. It is not the desire itself, it is the cause of the desire. The thing that keeps you hooked because you can never actually reach it. Imagine, she's in Lanka, she's right there, and she still feels completely out of reach for Ravan. That gap, that lack gets bigger, not smaller. And then Vibhishna tells Ravan, look, Ram is not just an exiled prince, he is an avatar of Vishnu. Any rational person on hearing this would return Sita immediately. I mean, this is Vishnu after all. But Ravan doubles down because now the stakes are higher and they're actually scarier. Lacan calls this jouissance, a pleasure that is also pain. It's not happiness or peace, it's the specific thrill of crossing a line that you know you should not. The closer he gets to ruin, the more alive he feels. Mandodari, his wife, begs Ravan to back down. Vibhishna, his advisor, also pleads with him, but he goes to war anyway. This is Lacan's lack in action. Knowledge did not fill it, power did not fill it, and now even the approaching certainty of death can't stop it. And at this point, we should look at the strangest moment in the Ramayana. Ram is in battle with Ravan and he cuts off a head. It grows back immediately. This is not about Ravan's magical powers. This is the entire plot of the story. The lack, that original gap, is the source. The 10 heads, the lust, the pride, the anger, the obsession with Sita, the war with Ram, all of it is just an expression of that one original lack. Cut off one expression, it'll just produce another expression and you haven't really solved anything. You can think of it this way. If a person gambles because they feel empty inside and you stop them from gambling, they'll find something else. Drinking, fighting, another obsession. Because the emptiness is still there. You treated the symptom and not the source. When Ram finally sends an arrow into Ravan's navel, the seat of his life force, that is Ram going past every expression, past every head and reaching the source directly. Now this is where the story becomes genuinely devastating because Ravan knew all this. Advaita Vedanta, which he had studied completely, says this. The feeling of lack is not real. It is produced by language itself. The moment language names you as a separate person, and that distance between you and everything else is where lack is born. But Advaita says you were never actually separate. You're not a body moving through the world. You are consciousness itself, and the world is appearing inside you as you. You don't need to want anything because you already are it. There's no gap between the two because there's no two, there's just one. The lack was always an illusion created by the very system of language that you were born into. Ravan knew this. His intellect, one of his 10 heads, understood it completely. But understanding something in your head and actually living it are two completely different things. And as Ravan was dying, Ram sent Lakshman to him to listen to his words. And Ravan, possibly the greatest scholar, looked at Lakshman and said, things that are bad for you seduce you easily. You run towards them. But things that are actually good for you, those you avoid. You find every excuse to delay them. And then he dies. That wasn't just a confession. That was the most precise description of lack you'll ever hear. From the one person who understood it completely and still could not escape. Now we're all Ravan. Not because we're villains, but because we carry the same gap, the same incompleteness. The problem was not that Ravan didn't know. The problem was that he could not stop. That is the question he leaves us with. Not whether you know the answer, but whether you can actually execute this particular answer.